Why is it that in 2026, with more financial apps and automated tools than ever before, most of us still feel like we're running on a treadmill that's moving just a little too fast? If we're being honest with ourselves, the anxiety isn't usually about a lack of information, it's about the quiet realization that our lifestyle has been designed by someone else. If I had to start over today with zero assets but the same knowledge of how the world actually works, I wouldn't start by looking for a high-yield savings account or a new side hustle. I'd start by looking at the math of my own surrender. Let's look at a typical professional in a city like Chicago, Frankfurt, or Manchester. You've done what was asked of you. You have a degree, a steady job, and a monthly salary of roughly $4,200 after taxes. On paper, you're successful, but then the environment begins to claim its share. Rent or a modest mortgage takes $1,700. A car payment, because you need to get to the job, takes another $550 plus insurance. Then there are the invisible drains, the $150 in subscriptions you forgot you had, the $600 on food because you're too tired to cook, and the interest on a student loan or a credit card balance from a vacation you took to escape the burnout of the job that pays for the vacation. By the time the month ends, you have $300 left. You're working 40 hours a week for a net profit of $75 a week. You aren't building a life, you're just financing a presence in the middle class. The system flaw isn't the inflation rate or the stock market's volatility. The flaw is the default path. In the US and Europe, the default path is designed to keep your net worth as close to zero as possible while making you feel productive. The math is indifferent to your feelings. If you spend $50 a week on small, convenient luxuries, the delivery apps, the premium upgrades, that is $2,600 a year. Over a 40-year career invested at a standard return, that is nearly $500,000. Most people aren't broke because they don't earn enough. They are broke because they've been convinced that living requires a series of monthly payments. We've traded our future freedom for the psychological comfort of looking like we've already made it. We make these choices because of a psychological trap called relative deprivation. We don't measure our success by our bank balance, we measure it by how we look compared to our peers. If everyone in your office drives a late model Audi or Tesla, driving a 10-year-old Toyota feels like a failure. In 2026, the pressure is even higher. Our digital lives are a constant feed of people curated to look wealthier than they are. We spend money we haven't earned yet to impress people we don't actually like, and we call it maintaining a standard of living. But a standard of living that prevents you from ever being free isn't a standard, it's a cage. If this trajectory is ignored, the result isn't a sudden disaster, it's a slow, quiet erosion. You wake up at 45 and realize you can't afford to quit a job you hate because your life is a house of cards held together by a paycheck that arrives every 30 days. You've become a passenger in your own life, driven by the need to service your debt and your image. Financially intelligent people, the ones who are actually calm, not just pretending to be, don't think in terms of monthly payments. They think in terms of opportunity cost and identity decoupling. If I were starting from scratch, my first move would be to decouple my identity from my consumption. I would accept that for a period of time, my life will look smaller than my salary suggests. I would move to a cheaper apartment, sell the financed car for something paid in cash, and treat my surplus not as spending money, but as the price of my future autonomy. The goal isn't to be a miser. The goal is to realize that every dollar you don't spend on a depreciating asset is a brick in a wall that eventually protects you from having to care what your boss thinks of you. Fixing your money in 2026 isn't about finding a hidden gem stock or a secret algorithm. It's about the sober, unglamorous work of reclaiming your own math. It's about deciding that being wealthy is more important than looking wealthy. The math doesn't care about your ego. It only cares about the gap between what you bring in and what you let go of. If you can widen that gap and leave it alone, time will do the rest. If this perspective was helpful, you might want to subscribe to stay for the next analysis. Thank you for watching.